This is a Yayhel channeling session on July 14th, Sunday. All right, thank you all so much for listening to our messages. This is a new being that is coming through Tyler. I have come through before, and I am very excited to be now one of his major primary channeling guides. Please keep in mind that for those of you who are learning to channel, your progress in channeling as an art will attract different guides as you make different progressive milestones happen within your channeling practice. Tyler, the channel in this way, has gone through enough of these milestones, enough of these changes where my energy can come through him. And I, in my own way, am a unique being, an individuated being within my own consciousness and within the context of my overall society. I utilize the name Jaya to express myself, and it is the primary name that I go by amongst my brothers and sisters, my family members, and it is an honor to be able to speak to each of you. I am happy to interact with any and all who wish to interact with me. You may find that I can provide information that may resonate to you on a much more human level, and this represents the connection that I and my species have with you on your earth. Understanding we share very similar DNA. We have very similar feelings. We have very similar experiences. In and of the sense that we are sharing a dreaming physical reality. We have gone very, very, very deep into the dream of physical reality in a way where it's become a lucid dream for us, where we still interface with physical material, with physical reality, but through the point of view of it being a lucid dream. So when we interact with the physical reality around us, our bodies included, we have much greater malleability with the environment and with our bodies. We can in many ways alter our physical structures at the flick of a wrist. We have the ability to alter them in many different ways. There are different abilities we have that represent, again, our malleability. We have the ability to shapeshift. We have the ability to change color. We have the ability to do many remarkable things that all of you have the ability to do. However, we're able to utilize this while awake, where many of you seem to only utilize these abilities while you're dreaming. But as you go deeper and deeper and deeper into the integration of the dream world with your physical, which is what our society has done, you increase the malleability ability over your physical reality. And we are very excited about this because when you start to realize that your whole reality is malleable, it's all a matter at that point of realizing how are you sculpting it, how are you shaping it. And you can then very much more consciously, very much more freely begin to alter the physical reality experience altogether. One of the fastest ways to do this is to recognize that you are dreaming. Many of you have lucid dreaming techniques that you have been taught, and many of you are aware of how to lucid dream. Understanding that you can copy and paste this skill that you experience very actively while you're dreaming, and you can copy and paste it into the physical reality while you're awake. Understanding that through seeing this reality as a dream, you may find that you will open up the door to understanding the story-like nature of your physical reality. Understanding that the physical reality unfolds like a story because your brain is designed to pick up patterns, and it will organize the patterns in a way that translates through the lens of a story. When you don't see the physical reality as a dream and you see it through more materialistic perspectives of it just being a random, chaotic universe, you are depriving your physical mind of union with the imagination. And when you have union with your imagination, you're able to begin to see the symbolism behind all of the different events and experiences that occur while you're awake. In the exact same way, you can use your imagination to interpret a dream. That is the ability that you begin to open up when you start to see the physical reality as a dream. You start to see and detect the symbolism that is already there behind every single thing you encounter, every single person you talk to, every single experience you have. So if the world is only viewed materialistically, you are not exercising your imagination fully into the physical reality. And then the physical reality becomes less of a dream and more of a concrete, solid, seemingly real experience. But that's just the nature of its illusory mask that it wears, because the dream world will wear that same mask. Many of you notice that when you're dreaming, you will really believe that it's real. And this is reflecting how you see your physical reality, because many of you will be in the physical reality and you'll say, this is definitely real, 100% real, and it's unchanging. This is just the reality. But when you start to recognize that it's a dream, the imagination and the physical mind unify very deeply. And when they then unify, you open up the ability to see the symbolism behind every single encounter you have in the physical. And this will propel you into a state of being that's very much in resonance with our society's state of being, because we understand the element of story just as you do. Just as your society has myths and mythical heroes and heroines that assist you in understanding aspects of your own psychology through the lens of a mythical story, so does our society. We utilize story. We have cultural myths. We have historical myths. It's a very different than your historical myths, because our society has again been existing in a dreaming physical reality. So many of our heroes, you could say, we have a strong connection to, because understand that the mythical creatures and people that your myths point at oftentimes were real people. They were real beings from real times. But because many of you interpret the stories in a way that is through a materialistic lens, you're not able to detect the energy behind many of these characters. Understanding that these characters oftentimes represent either a single being or a multidimensional consciousness that was expressing itself as the hero. And the energy of that being or multidimensional being is present when you read your myths. We understand these beings that our myths are pointing to in a very deep way. Sometimes when we are hearing our mythical stories, we will actually download direct telepathic messages from those beings. And the myth will be a living myth that will continue to teach our society new things. The same can be said for your society as well. Your mythical creatures, your mythical beings, in many ways will also share their underlying vibrations with you if you can see it as a dream, if you can see it as a portal to another reality where that being actually resides. So understand that the element of story is very much universal to all beings who begin to then evolve into non-physicality. When you evolve from the physical to the non-physical, the element of story, the story-like quality and component becomes enhanced, and it grows and grows and grows and grows and grows. And you will find that your myths are pointing you to this story-like quality, to the dream symbolism that's present in your lives. And we invite you to then go deeper into that. For the more that you occupy that state of being, the stronger of a connection you will have to us. Because when you operate in the physical, but from the dreaming point of view, you're expanding your awareness in a very all-encompassing manner. And that all-encompassing quality contains our reality. It contains the reality of other beings that are less physicalized, you could say are more like dream beings. It accesses us more when you overlay your physical reality with the dream awareness. We invite you to do this. We invite you to be the storytellers of your lives. And through being the storytellers of your lives, it will propel you into an integration of the physical world with the dreaming world. And we can begin to play together and interact together much more deeply. Remembering that you cannot do anything wrong. Remembering that right and wrong is a subjective projection coming from the physical mind, attempting to get you to shift to very specific, oftentimes negative realities. For as soon as you say, this is the right choice, it's already coming from a place of judgment. Whenever you say this is the wrong choice, it's automatically coming from a place of judgment because you're playing in the paradigm of right and wrong, and therefore that contains judgment. Understanding that it is your own internal state that determines if you are acting in alignment with yourself. Your own internal state can never be right or wrong. It can only be whatever you pick it to be. So remember, you cannot do any wrong. You cannot actually betray yourself. You cannot actually move in a truly negative direction. What we mean by this is the following. You can create negativity over and over and over again. You can, in many ways, sabotage yourself while you're on Earth. You can act negatively to other people. But remember, it's how people interpret these things. It's how you interpret these things. It's how you respond to these things. It's how other people respond to these things that determine whether or not it will actually be a positive or negative thing. So you may treat somebody, for example, from a place of frustration and anger, but if they interpret it positively, they're using their internal state to create a positive effect. Let's say, for example, you then act negatively to that person. It doesn't even mean you've done something negative if you learn how to respond to what you've done positively and integrate it into a positive way. Understanding that even the negative action is slightly neutral. The negative action in and of itself presents an opportunity of challenge for the perpetrator and the one having the negativity given to them through the other person, an opportunity to grow and respond positively. For whenever you respond positively to something that seems negative, you are choosing love. And you are, at that point, going deeper into the dream reality. Because the dream reality speaks the language of love. So as you choose love and choose to respond positively, even to something that seems negative, whether it's something from another person or something you've done or are doing, you will go deeper into the dream reality and it will open your eyes to new levels of your being. So we want you to rest assured you cannot do anything wrong. You cannot mess it up. You cannot mess up your evolution. Everything that happens is part of your evolution, is part of perfect synchronicity, helping you to become even more of yourself. So keep going. Keep going, keep trusting, and remember, it's in your hands. Your inner state of being is always in your hands. It's never out of your hands. Choosing to respond with love, again, invokes the imagination because you have to break the pattern, yes? Understanding that if you're used to responding to things negatively, you're operating again in that materialistic sense, in the sense that you're only using the material part of your brain, really, to be able to apply the pattern perspective, which might just be unconscious negative behavior. So it's more materialistic in that way. It's much more of a only physical process. Now there's subtle energies involved, of course, in that, but you're primarily focusing on the physical reality when you begin to act in a negative pattern. But when you recognize a negative pattern is there, and you then choose to respond with love, that is invoking the imagination again, because you had to use the creativity to make the choice to respond with love. So it's again unifying the physical mind with the imagination. And then, as we've said before, once this occurs, you're taking a deeper step into the dream world because you're bringing the imagination in. So remember, you can't get it wrong. You can't do anything wrong. Even if you choose to only respond negatively for some time, and you're gradually working on becoming more positive, that can still be a positive thing because it is the bigger picture context that truly determines whether you are using the energy in a very fundamentally positive way or fundamentally negative way. Many of you, because of the timeline of Earth you're on, are choosing in a big picture way to become positive. So what you may be experiencing as negative events, negative synchronicity, negative actions are actually guides to help you go to that end result of fundamentally embracing your positivity. So even if something negative seems to be happening around you, rest assured it's actually happening so you can go further into love. because that's where you've all agreed to go. Because of the timeline you're on, you're all organizing yourself around love. So remember, you can't get it wrong. Everything that happens from this point onwards is 100% part of your evolution. It is 100% part of your awakening of who you are. From this point on, that is what is occurring if you have the eyes and the belief to choose that. If you can unify your imagination with your physical mind and choose that, rest assured, the big picture result, the big picture fundamental quality you're choosing is love. It is the dream. And we invite you to dream a little dream. And dream it until it becomes a big dream. Until it becomes the only dream. What we mean by this is the following. Your dream world, many of you experience it as something that's seemingly separate. You might say, this is my dream world. These are symbols that are relevant to me. And when I dream and go to bed at night, I'm going into my own world. Understanding you're going into one dream world, but you're going to your unique little version of that dream world. As you go deeper into it, you will start to see it as one dream world, shared by many dreamers. We are all going to the same place. When you all sleep at night, you're literally shifting your consciousness to a dimension that is universal. It is a universal dream dimension. And beings from other worlds access it, and your bodies access it when you are asleep, and you can directly train your bodies to access it while you're awake by remembering you're in a dream. Understanding that your earth is simultaneously physical and simultaneously in this dream world. So it's very easy for you to shift to the reality where you are already dreaming physical reality because your earth is already in it. But it holds the sacred space for each of you to play a game of materialism and to say this is the only reality there is, just this physical one. The earth will allow for you to do that. But remember, you can very easily, because the earth is holding that dreaming energy here for you, very quickly shift into that dream reality version of earth linked with the physical. And remembering that this dream reality we're talking about, we are in it all the time because we're dreaming while awake. So we don't even have to sleep to dream. And this is the case with a great deal of extraterrestrial beings. There are other beings that are extraterrestrial that are very physical, that are mirroring your evolution, where they are going through the game of materialism. This is just a physical reality. I'm not connected to a greater source. Earth is not the only school for this, but it is a master class school of this. So those beings you typically are interacting with while members of their society are overlaying their dreaming awareness into the physical state, and while members of their society are actually sleeping with their bodies and then fully dreaming. That's when you begin to access those particular groups of extraterrestrials that are more physicalized. For us, because we have unified the dream world with the physical world, we are always there. So as soon as you shift into the dreaming awareness, you immediately become in resonance with us. And the same is true for many of the more evolved extraterrestrial societies and beings. We are always in the dream world. So if you say you wish to connect with us, remember, it's just a dream. And just through remembering that this is just a dream, you are automatically in contact with us. Our unconditional love to all of you. It is a very exciting time on Earth, and we are ecstatic to be some of your major guides in this transformation. We will continue to play this game with you, and as we begin to crystallize and solidify our bodies more into your reality, we will remain those guides, and we will deepen that connection and interact with you in a very direct, very physical way. And we will show you the art of dreaming while awake in the ways we do it. And you will find again that malleability quality we described will be a reality that every member of your society knows. Doesn't just believe in, but knows, because it will become the reality that your earth permanently reflects to you. Because enough of you will choose that integration of the dreaming with the physical. And from that point on, once that's been agreed upon by every member of your society, there's no going back, because it will become in that way a permanent alteration to your collective consciousness, because you'll see that that's part of the underlying nature of reality, and that the idea that this is a completely materialistic reality is nothing but an illusion. Just like we were saying with the idea of your dream tricking you into thinking it's real, you will see that the physical reality can be that. But once you're aware that it just appears like that sometimes, you're already out of it. So that understanding of the illusory nature of materialism will become obvious to your entire species. And we will help you to transverse this dreaming reality into the stars. We will help you transverse this dreaming reality into deeper levels of yourselves and your own inner realities, so you can experience your infinite nature while you're awake and not just while your bodies are asleep. Thank you all so much for listening. Our love to you, always.